Welcome to the Balance 519. It is Big G. I am here to finish my story, part two of Mike and myself, our reign at Stay Fit Health Center, Everything Fitness. So I ended that we started talking because I was already managing. And this is the other thing. When I ran that supplement company with Steve Baker, the late Steve Baker, he and I moved in together in Guelph, and he was actually my assistant manager at the gym. So I'm working for Doug as the manager. The late Steve Baker is my assistant manager, and Mike McCready is just a member that I would talk to while I was working. You know those guys that are in there for a 45-minute workout, but it's an hour and a half because they talk and chit-chat to the people that work there? Yeah, that was Mike and I. So we started chatting. I started realizing that this guy worked a factory job that he's been at since he was 16, since he found out he was going to be a father. He did the right thing and started working, like left school, went to work. Some people don't think that's the right thing, but I definitely am from the Gen X. So yeah, you got to provide and protect instantly. So he did that. So he'd been there since that time. So I don't know, he was making like $80K a year because he was there for so long. And I think he was already, oh God, when we met, he was probably in his almost 30s. So then I also found out, I asked him on a Monday, International Chest Day. I said, so was your weekend? And he goes, oh, got into a couple fights. And I'm like, whoa, this guy just street fights were random. But then I find out that he was a bouncer on second floor Van Gogh's, the hip hop floor. So he was always dealing with drunks and, guys that are from Toronto that are going to shoot him. He just knocked them all out. Anyways, so I talked to him about that. And then I knew about his daughter. And I said, so why do you work 7 days a week? He said, well, I just won custody, won primary over in court for my daughter, which is amazing. Guys never win that. And said that the lawyer's fees was $15,000 that he still had to pay off. So he's doing his regular job plus the bouncing gig on the side because he has a mortgage, and he had all these fees. So at the time, my trainer, the person taking over personal training, his name was Tim, good guy, Tim Zettel. And, sidebar, Tim Zettel was our trainer, saw a horrific accident happen and instantly knew he wanted to be an EMS worker. Like he wanted to be in an ambulance helping. He described it to me. I was like almost sick to my stomach, but he was like okay, let's call 911. Let's do this. Like he was there at the scene and just, wow. So anyways, he left to do that because it's like when God speaks to you about something and then you're all in. So he had one of those moments. So then I had this idea. I was like, well, what if this guy I met, Mike, instead of the not safe bouncing and might get stabbed or shot trying to pay his lawyer fees off for winning custody over his daughter, why don't I get him to do personal training? Since my trainer is leaving, he could do that as a safer side gig. He loves the gym. He's working out all the time and he's not going to get shot or stabbed here. So I talked to him about it, and he said, he was like surprised. He's like, I could be. I'm like, yeah, you could be. Definitely be a good trainer. And so I told him, I think on a Monday, and then he tells me that he starts on Thursday, like he enrolled already, and he was going to do it that weekend or something. I was like, holy shit, this guy's just on it. And then, so much. Oh, And then my assistant manager of the gym wanted to leave. So Steve Baker, the late Steve Baker, wanted to move home to Toronto. So he got homesick, which he was living in Guelph for a while with me. And we just lost a supplement company, and now we're working for Doug, and it's going to be this long 36-month ordeal to get finally ownership if we can afford it. And this was just like month 3 or month 2 or 3. And so he left, so I was alone to fend for myself in a 2-bedroom. And obviously I, gave our 60 days notice. But then I went up to Mike and said, yo, there's actually assistant manager position available. So we were also in the midst of, because I did the deal with Doug, that in 36 months I could buy it. We then moved our gym from the small Bulldog 9,000 square foot facility, and we renovated the vacant old bowling alley in the plaza and turned that into the gym. I made it double the size. So we went from 9,000 square feet to like 17,000 square feet, something like that. So almost double. So obviously rent went as well. So we were doing all of this stuff. So all of this was happening. Again, another big change. Getting Mike to come on board to replace my trainer, and then also replace the AGM, the assistant general manager for sales. So that's personal training sales and then the gym sales. Now, the big thing was that we, in the gym business, you can pay well, but on commission, because that's money that's come in or money promised. So even though someone joins and signs up for 12 months, even though they're paying in 12 months, we still pay the commission for the entire year sale. So, and then it's up to the gym to collect all 12 payments and collect NSF fees if there's any, blah, blah, blah. So, so we could only pay Mike $8.25. I remember when that was minimum wage, $8.25. So $8.25 with a really healthy commission base. So Mike had to think about it, because he would be leaving an $80,000 a month secured factory job where he has a daughter, fiance at the time, and a mortgage. So he has bills, like true bills, real bills, and leaving it for $8.25. Big promise on commission and part-time personal training, but he's not in a factory. He's in the gym. Like, the gym environment is so laid back. You're in comfy clothes all day, and it's the gym. It's not hard. It's the gym. So he took it, and man, this guy, knowing that he can't survive on $850, was doing like, from $1,500 to $3,000 in commission a month. And he locked himself in that room, and he did all his calls. This is the old school. There was no Instagram back then. I think we had Facebook, and that was it. But there's no social platforms, and, YouTube wasn't big yet. So it was just all on the phone, calling still, old school, calling, flyers, doing outreach. He did it all to make sure he can make all his ends meet. And then came the 36 months. So when it came down to it, Doug said, all right, it's the 36 months. You've paid up to this much. This is how much I can sell you the club. What do you want to do? And man, McCready deserved it. I didn't want to do it I didn't get to that point by myself. So it was only right to include him, because he did half the job. He literally brought up half those sales, actually most of those sales. But just like, even though Doug and I did the deal, it was, he was definitely part of it. and only happened because of him. So, anyways, when it came down to it, I decided to go in partners with Mike. But the problem was we didn't have any money. We were broke. So we found someone that I trained personally, and they wanted to help us so bad that they said, "Do you think a cashier's check would help make his decision?" And I said, "Yeah, I bet you if I put one in front of him, he wouldn't say no." So these people knew that we, with the gym, and because Mike and I were the ones running it, that we would be able to pay the loan to them back. So we got the check and we went to Doug's on Boxing Day. We would have usually we'd visit him for Christmas. He was the owner of the club. We were his managers. So we had our Christmas drink, had lunch with him and Linda, and Linda always had a little present for us and for our girls, for our daughters. Which is very sweet. Linda, we love you. So we went to his house. We had our meal. We did a little Christmas thing. And then Linda says, "You boys go downstairs and have a drink with Doug while I clean up." So we went downstairs and had a couple drinks, a couple shots. It was hitting us pretty fast. It was only noon. And of course, Doug's old school, so a pipe may have come out, and we went to pass the pipe around. Mike's not a pipe guy, but Mike drinks. He's Irish. So everyone was feeling good. And we said, "Doug, we really want to buy the club from you. We got to figure out a deal." And I said, he said, "If I said to you guys, if you can give me a check for this much down, I'll look to mortgage the balance of the club off to you guys." And I reached in my back pocket and I put down that cashier's check and gave it to him. He looked at it. I even had his name on it. And then he looked. And we're like, "What do you think? Done deal?" And we're all buzzing. And then he reaches over and shakes both our hands, and it was done. That was like one of the best moments. I was like, "Mike, we just bought a gym, bro." Oh man, that was wild. There's a different feeling when you walk into your own business. You have a different pride. That's why you don't mind cleaning toilets. That's why you don't mind. I mean, you hate it, but you take shifts of, workers that slept in or partied too late and they can't come into Sunday morning shift. So you do it, but you do it with a different pride when you own. There's something about owning a place. No one will ever work as hard as the owners do. So Mike and I had a crazy run. So many things happened through there. So many relationships and wives and man, there should be anonymous stories of Stayfit Health Center. Should be a thing. Because there's a lot of stories, and we'll just keep who it was. No one will just exchange all the names, but man, do we have some stories. There are some stories in there. Like weird and bad things that happened in rooms and on the floor and when we weren't 24/7 and oh my gosh, some crazy stuff. Anyways, so Mike and I took over. We had a crazy run. I don't want to go in extent of everything because you guys have lived it. I will put up a couple things. I will put up some pics and video. But we went from taking a club from Doug, then opening it bigger, making the Taekwondo program high performance, and we were having competitors like my daughter and the rest of the team flying places to fight, fighting internationally, fighting nationally, winning provincially. Like, we got right into the CrossFit era. We had CrossFit classes. We had CrossFit, a team that was competing. We had, man, there was a point there when we had Muay Thai. We had a big MMA. Elite Fighting Academy was like everything. We had combat sambo. We had Muay Thai. Obviously Taekwondo, straight boxing, jiu-jitsu with the world champion, Abu Dhabi champ, Drew Ruddle from Waterloo. We had so many. Jay Bethija, who was the middleweight and light heavyweight Muay Thai champion. It's just so many major players. We had a combat sambo guy that didn't even speak English, and he just hurt all his students. Like, he was so hardcore. It was like we had a little Khabib Nurmagomedov there. Anyways, we went through all of that, and then had Fuad Abiad, had so many different pros, had pros utilize our club for their training seminars. Like Fuad and Dan McGrath did one there with Dorian Hamilton. Yeah, we just had so many big moments at Everything Fitness. It was a good reign. Like, we brought it, like the year before COVID, we did our first $1 million in sales. Like, that was huge for us, for a mom and pop gym. So yeah, that was our reign. It was due, though. It was due for us to move on. It was time. Mike is now in federal corrections. He's in Millhaven. He's an officer there. I'm still doing the YouTube crypto influencer thing. That's still going well. And obviously we have projects and things like that. But my number one thing is the teaching Taekwondo for that government program. Hopefully that starts in the spring, and Maxine and I'll get that going. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed that segment. That was part 2 of number 4 of my top 50. All right. This is Big G. I'll talk to you soon.